Oh, what up? All right. So today, let's talk about city pages and how to create them in the best way to send signals to Google for local business that you operate in the area and the cities that you serve. So that's kind of the primary point of this. Show Google you're legit. Show Google the cities that you operate in. More specifically, the cities around the city where your address is, right? Your primary city, although you do want to include that. But we're just showing Google, hey, look, we offer these services in these cities, and we want to pass that along. So that's the ultimate goal for these city service pages. So let's talk about all the elements that we can include on here to help boost our rankings on Google Maps and help customers who come to these pages make a decision to work with us. Because I think that's important, right? As much as we want to do SEO, we want to write for humans and then optimize for Google, right? So let's talk about this. So how to build city pages. Now, first, I just want to say, try to target a keyword. I think a lot of people feel like I'm going to make a city page. I'm just going to make it instead of looking to see if there's any search volume that they can actually target. So you can use something like SEMrush or Ahrefs or even the Google Maps and just look for what it suggests and see if there's something specific. Usually that's going to be X service in city, right? Roofing services in Boise, right? That's probably going to have some volume or probably going to be what you target. But even just figuring out what that is for your business is important, and try to target a specific search. Then you'll get volume and clicks from SERPs while also helping boost your Google business profile. So I think that's important. Start with a keyword. Okay. The second thing we want to do is link to the city's official website. So for Boise, I think we have City of Boise. You can just do a search for the city. Typically, it's going to be the first link that pops up. In this situation, it's here, City of Boise. One of the first links that pops up. You want to link to the city from your text in an open new window. That's going to help show Google that's the city that you're connected to. Okay. Second is in the text, talk about the city and how your services solve local problems. So I think this is important. Google knows if you're just writing generic text or if it is going to help the user. And so, if you can find an angle that fits, for, once again, I like roofing for some reason. I am gravitating towards that today for a roofer. Maybe one city has higher end homes. Maybe one city has medium sized homes. And maybe there's different kinds of roofs or something. So you can really be unique to the city in the problems that they face and how your services solve those problems, right? So talk about the city and the services. Okay, then we want to mention and link our city page to all of our primary service pages. So if you have a roofing repair, a roofing replacement, roofing installation, if you have those as your service pages, we want to link to those from our city page. Now, if you only have like 3 or 4 or 1, then you might want to just talk about your services generally and put hyperlinks to those pages in the text. But if you have a long list, if you have 7, 9, 10, maybe talk about a few of those services and hyperlink, maybe your most prominent services. But then you can just put a list of the rest of the services you offer on the page and hyperlink to those services from that list. Either way, we want to get a link to every one of our primary service pages from the city page to help boost those primary service pages, right? I mean, that's kind of the bigger silo that we're building is, city pages, service pages, home page, right? That's our silo. So just to create a really good silo structure, we want to link to all those service pages. Okay. link to surrounding city pages. So then what we want to do is every city in your area. Now, if you have multiple locations or multiple areas, then you want to separate these out into their own silos, their own structures, right? But for most people who have one location, all of your service cities, also you want to link to all of those cities. And that can just be towards the end of the page. Put something like we serve the entire location, or cities we serve around the location are whatever, and then just list all the cities like it's a menu, but in a sentence, and just have a hyperlink to each one of those cities, 8, 10, 12, however many you have, and just link to all of them. So have links to all of the surrounding cities. So testimonials, this is good for Google, but it's also good for other humans, right? Link to the testimonials, especially if you can get testimonials that mention the city in those testimonials. Put those testimonials on the page. That's going to be good content for Google, and it's going to be great content for people who are reading to see testimonials, right? So include testimonials on those pages. Geotagged images or a city-specific gallery. Now, geotagging is whatever. You don't have to geotag, but if you have some images from the city, title the images, alt descriptions with the city information. If they're geotagged, great. Put that on the page. If you have a lot, or if it's going to be really helpful for people to see a gallery, maybe you put a city-specific gallery that shows a bunch of projects from that city. So that can help boost, city awareness and city-specific data. And geotagging can be great, right? So that Google knows you took the pictures from that city. That can potentially be helpful. There's a lot of information, whether that's helpful or where on the list, probably not very helpful if at all. So don't waste your time if you don't have it. But getting some city-specific images is a great idea. Okay, link back to your home page. So you want to put a link back to your home page. Just use your business name as the anchor text, right? Embed a Google map of your city. So what you can do is just go to Maps. You can type in your city name, Boise. For here, it's going to show Boise, and I can just click Share, Embed Map, copy the HTML, and then put that into my site. And now I'm going to have that map embedded at the bottom. That's just, once again, giving Google more information about that city and that is the city that we're talking about. And then lastly is use a proper slug. And I think a lot of people get this wrong. Use your service and your city, but make sure you put the state identifier. So for Idaho, it's ID. Put the state identifier at the end of your slug. Your slug is the address in the URL bar, the address that your website page is on, right? So there might only be one Boise, but there's 20 meridians, right? So I have a meridian next to me, and there's a bunch of meridians in the US. So you gotta put that state identifier in there so that Google knows the state. I know Google can probably figure it out, but we don't want them to guess. Make it as easy for Google as possible. So put that state identifier in there to make sure that it works. So these are the things you want to include. You're looking at 500 to 750 words. You don't have to go nuts on these, but they're really good to create. Talk about your business, talk about the services, talk about the city and how you solve it, link to your services, and you're going to have city pages that not only help your Google map rank better, but also are just going to help when customers come to your site. They can come through these pages, right? They're really good for searches because they typically are targeting a search, especially if you do that on purpose. They're great ways to get customers and get more visibility on Google Maps. That's what I got for today. Leave any comments that you want. Please, I'd love to know what you want to talk about, what you want me to talk about, any questions or anything I can further discuss. Yeah, I'd love to talk more. Otherwise, we will see you tomorrow.